but it's the gear. It's the accompanying, like you're a Van Halen fan or you're a Jay-Z fan, you've got some of their stuff at home, or maybe you wear their t-shirt. That's what that means for folks that don't know what paraphernalia means. It's the things associated with it. A Christian has a cross around their neck, a Satanist, a pentagram. That's the accoutrement. But I don't want to get lost in the weeds here with all the evidence we've got. I've got to be very careful about what I do get into and what I cover, because some of this I can't get into yet. But number one, know this. We first broke that there was people aiding Mr. Paddock, whether he was a patsy or not, and that he was being investigated for extremism. Now, we said that a good 24 hours before the sheriff's department there in Las Vegas came out and said that, and that they'd found things that were forcing them basically to look into that. Now, before I go further, remember that ISIS came out in the early morning hours of October 1st and took responsibility and said that he had converted now, not 3 months before, but 6 months before. And now they've released, they say, evidence of that and what his name was. And I'm going to get to that in a moment. But the media covered it the first day. The second day, they just said, ISIS never said that. See, first AP said, no, normally when ISIS takes responsibility, it's accurate. That's something they actually do. When they haven't done it at some other group, they don't do it. They believe in what they're doing. They're zealots. They're lunatics, but they tell the truth about that. And then Newsweek and others said that I had made it up, but didn't show where I'd made it up. So they're really scared of that connection. And when Monday morning hit and the media said no evidence of who he was connected to, no motive, they got really angry, because what my sources told me was there was Antifa paraphernalia all over the place, and that he was, again, clear about why he was doing it, and that there was photos of visits to the Middle East. It wasn't till that night it came out that she'd gone to Dubai and other Islamic countries. And of course, that she was from the Philippines, that's partially Islamic and has a big Islamic rebellion going on, and a lot of guns getting run into the country out of Mexico and out of the United States, particularly out of Nevada. And that's coming up. So when I say case solved, we know there's a cover-up. We know who the players are. I'll get to it in a moment. And if you want to completely nail it down and have the case be solved, you've got to go down the rabbit hole on this. And there's a lot of evidence I'm going to go through here in a moment. But again, we told you that he had been radicalized. We told you that he had help. A day after we told you he'd been radicalized and that material was found, or the radicalization material was found, they came out and admitted it. 2 days after we told you that they were looking at him as having major support and that he did not act alone, the sheriff's department came out yesterday and said that as well. So let's just set the benchmark here. Just like the Secret Service told us at the RNC that Hillary was having convulsions every 45 minutes and had a black ambulance that we should look for, and then we did find it and people started following it and we publicized it and we caught her falling down on her face with a seizure. Nothing wrong with that. She's had a brain tumor for a while, was removed. It's come back reportedly. We don't wish any harm against her. But we have the sources. So when I give you the latest info here in just a moment, understand that my sources are at the low level and the mid level. But that's important because that's the grassroots. Once it goes up the chain and gets political, we know at the top there's all these Obama and Clinton and Bush holdovers that are sabotaging Trump and won't even let our information get to him. So he went to Vegas, we can confirm from sources, that's big news, to talk to the police, to talk to the sheriff's department and try to figure out what's going on for himself. Because he realizes, being a casino owner and a hotel owner and golf course owner and condo owner, that this is an assault on his bread and butter. It's a direct threat. And then it gets into who owns Mandalay, the MGM building stuff in the Middle East, and the MGM telling their their members and their staff will match any money and give you perks if you give money to the Southern Poverty Law Center or the ADL or CARE and the Muslim groups, or if you do all this. I mean, they're SJWs, social justice warriors all the way. So that's more data. But here's what I can tell you, saying that we've solved the case. There's a massive cover-up going on, and there's no way he got 20-plus firearms and thousands of rounds of ammo up into an adjoining room suite for 5 days, and then was able to prepare this and have cameras outside the room, and the maids didn't get involved. In Las Vegas, I've confirmed from law enforcement, after I learned about it from some of our security folks, that anybody going into one of those hotels, once you check in, you're watched, your background's checked. Once you leave your hotel room, maids are dispatched to go in and turn, like you're in a prison ward, everything you got. But everybody knows that. You go in, there's little chocolates out on the bed, everything. They've been in your room. One of my security guys was working for a security firm a few years ago for high-value targets they were protecting. He got called in. He left his gun in his underwear drawer, went down to have dinner for an hour, came up, it was gone. They said, come down to the desk. There was the police there. He had to get the security firm to come and show they had all the documents. They were going to arrest him. So the fact that he's there for 5 days, which is a whole nother story. They said he was there 3 days. We got the receipts, published them yesterday, drudgereport.com, linked to them. And then again today, the sheriff's department says, yes, his wife or his live-in common law wife was going in and out of the country, did have 2 social security numbers, was doing all this, and some other woman was visiting him inside of the hotel room days before, and he was there for 5 days. So all of this is being confirmed. So I'm just trying, there's no teleprompter here. I'm just laying out the data I've got. And so when I say we're solving the case, it's this. There's more than one shooter. There's a cover-up. We're going to show you the evidence in a moment of that. We've already shown you the proof, and now it's been admitted we were right before about the first phase of this. And, of course, they're using the attack to blame all gun owners and the very victims that got attacked with CBS executives and others and countless others. You're saying everybody that owns a gun are dirt bags. Americans are in a dirty business. Jimmy Kimmel, we're all bad when they've got bodyguards. I mean, this is a full-on assault. The good news is nobody's buying it. So you have the target that is the motive. The Christian conservative country music listeners that the left are celebrating got attacked. Truly desperate, truly sickening. But when we know there's a cover-up, he couldn't get into the hotel with all the guns, be there 5 days. They tried to cover up that he was there 5 days. You have the George Soros Islamic CARE, massive connections of the hotels to those organizations and the globalist agenda. And then, after all of that, you've got the police saying, yes, indeed, he was radicalized. We're looking into that. And on top of it, there's no way, to quote the sheriff, that he didn't have help.